Hi folks, I'm Rhodes-Geromin. I teach AP US Government and AP Comparative Government. Sorry I can't be here this afternoon, so I made this video for my PLC presentation. My goal for this PLC regarding AP was twofold. I want to see an increase in the number of non-traditional student enrollment in all AP courses, not just mine, and to support the non-traditional student in AP courses once they've enrolled to make sure that they're successful. So two things. A non-traditional student is really hard to pigeonhole. There's not a specific definition for it, but it would be minority students, free and reduced lunch students, or maybe SPED students, parents that don't have a background or knowledge of AP programs, maybe parents that don't have degrees, but you really can't define a non-typical AP student with just particular demographics. But it's kind of like an umbrella definition. And then success, the definition of success in an AP course is scoring a 3 or higher on the national exam that occurs in May. Okay, here is just a chart of the national stats. This is what the College Board has compiled. These are the number of U.S. public school graduates scoring a 3 or higher on an AP exam during high school. Now, I wanted to be able to compare our data to the national data. Now, unfortunately, at the time of this presentation and through June, the College Board's website with this data for our school was not available, of course. So what I did is I looked at enrollment of some demographics that I could actually determine from my previous courses and compared it to the demographics of the students that are taking my course this year. So enrolled in 2018 and 19, I had 51 students, 71% were white. Not all of those white students would be typical AP students or traditional AP students, because there would be some that would fall under parents without a higher degree or free and reduced lunch students, but I can't have access to that information, of course, so I just kind of broke it down by race. African Americans, 16% of my students are African American this year. That is up 9% enrollment from last year, and then two or more races is up 11%. So, why this matters? Okay, so AP students there's a correlation between their success in college and them being exposed to the college curriculum of AP. Okay, so you're more likely to be accepted into colleges just for attempting an AP course and having that AP coursework on your transcripts. You are going to attend college at a higher rate, earn higher grades once you are in college because you've had an opportunity to develop the skill sets that you will use in college. You're more likely to determine your field of study or your major sooner than non-AP students, which would allow you to focus on those courses that you need to get out of school as quickly as you possibly can. And with the cost of college being what it is, that's important. They're less likely to drop out of college if they've been exposed to AP coursework, and they're more likely to graduate on time or earlier if they're able to achieve that college credit for passing the AP exam. Now, all of this information is coming from the College Board, and there is a correlation. Causation has not been proven, but what I have to say about this is, if more non-traditional students are entering college, shouldn't more students who are not considered typical AP students have an opportunity to expose themselves to the college curriculum in high school in a setting where the support system is entrenched with their parents, their teachers, and guidance counselors, and we are playing an active role in the student's success instead of just throwing them to the wolves of college professors. So I believe that every student who has any kind of desire to head to college really should have an opportunity to take an AP course in some kind of subject. So, increasing enrollment. The solutions. knowing that AP courses are out there and which ones are available is key. So making the student aware of the benefits of AP classes during guidance appointments, which I know our guidance department does a great job at that, but just continuing that work. I would like to focus more on student-to-student recruitment, and I've kind of started to develop a program of this informally where I recruit a non-traditional AP student. They don't die, they actually survive. They feel like they've learned something and gotten benefits out of being in an AP class, and then I encourage them to tell their peers and their juniors peers that they should sign up for an AP course. And then, as the group I'm sure is going to talk about, or already has talked about, is adding the pre-AP study skills class to the program of studies so they can get the practice in the writing skills, reading skills, quantitative, qualitative analysis skills needed to be successful in an AP course. So once you've increased enrollment, then you have to make sure that the students are successful. So how do you do that? One thing that's important to understand is that a non-typical AP student may not have as much out-of-class time, resources, or support at home to be able to do a lot of work. So really, the focus needs to be coming off of the breadth of work and focusing on better work in school. So it shouldn't, and I know this is difficult because there's a lot of material to cover, especially in the history and then the biology courses. And then calculus, you got to do practice in order to be successful with the problems in calculus and stuff like that. And then reading the books for the literature. There will be work done outside of class, but what keeps a lot of non-traditional students from taking an AP course is that they simply do not have the time at home. They either have to take care of siblings or they have to work, and it's difficult for them to be able to carve out time at home to do the work that we're asking them to do. So coursework, I'd like to see my coursework focus on more deeper learning, more depth over breadth. Also taking a better advantage of the AP tutoring sessions during Packer block and really establishing a time in the week for my kids who cannot come to tutoring after school to come get some assistance with the more deeper concepts. Also, making use of College Board resources to improve critical thinking skills. College Board has done a really good job coming up with resources that are more critical thinking based. I actually worked with College Board for government to come up with more deeper learning activities, and they're putting these on their websites and they're giving us more resources and just really sitting down and diving into those resources. So what I'm doing in class is more quality activities to make the most of the class time that I have with these students. And that means moving from being a lecturer to handing over the responsibility of learning to the students. One thing that I noticed that I really needed to work on this year, and I tried very hard to, was focusing on the psychological supports for these students, because AP classes are labeled as the smart kids class or the rich kids class, and I want to move away from that. I want everybody that walks through my door to know that they have as equal chance of being successful as a kid who's considered the smart kid or the rich kid, and making my classroom a more inclusive classroom environment. Adjusting pacing. So after I get the score reporting back from the College Board, identifying from the data the most difficult topic of the unit, slowing down for that topic and covering it in more depth, and giving the students more direct activities to practice that information. And continuing this. The bell just rang, so I paused it for a second. Inconsistency. But what I was saying is the continuing the PLC. We've never had, as AP teachers, the opportunity to really discuss issues with AP across the curriculum. And this is a great opportunity to be able to do that and to discuss what are those common skills that kids are lacking when they come into our class, and really kind of being able to sit down and focus on what are those non-traditional kids, what do they need the most when they walk into our classroom. And then College Board professional opportunities. This is really a big focus of the College Board, diversifying the College Board program. If you go back to the statistics, the nation as a whole is not setting numbers on fire as far as pass rates for diverse students in AP classes. So the College Board is really focused on getting more success through all diversity of demographics of students, so they have an opportunity to earn some college credit before having to spend all of that money on college. And they've got some great professional development opportunities, like going to score AP exams. Okay, so that was kind of what I wanted to focus on for next year. Here are my sources, if anybody wants to look them up. All right, thanks guys. Thank you for your time.